Hello everyone, how's it going? Today in this video I'm going to give away an extremely powerful build in Shadow of War. New DLC is coming soon with Endless Fortress Defense and Assault. So I'm making this video to explain a build which is fairly easy to use and extremely overpowered. I hope this build will help you defend and capture many fortresses fast and very easily. It can even make you feel that you are cheating. The build is a good all-round build and will work in all situations. At the end, I'm going to show the build in action. I'm sure that a lot of you are annoyed when you're trying to kill an enemy captain and 10 or 15 enemy grunt is trying to interrupt your flurry or combo and ruin your hit streak. The build will actually make you happy or more effective when a lot of enemy grunt is around you. This build uses various skills and upgraded skills to enter stealth in combat and still kill high amount of grunts or gain high amount of resources without spending any resources like might or wrath. With this build you will not need to run around looking for health when your health is low. You won't run out of arrows, you'll gain wrath extremely quickly, and you will have an army of empowered undead followers around you to deal huge amount of damage to enemy captains, warships, or even overlords. Here I'll show you a small clip of the build in action. I'll run into a group of 5 hunters and get in combat on purpose. Walk in the park, short fight for everyone. Everyone can do it, kill them very easily. That's not the point. Um, but actually with this build I'll be able to stealth kill all 5 hunters without using any might or wrath or arrows. We'll also gain almost a half bar full of wrath and a few undead allies as well. We'll be able to do the exact same thing in combat after 10 seconds, which will give us a full wrath bar or almost a full wrath bar. The build will also give us a full wrath bar to use against almost every captain that we encounter, which makes the fight against the captain significantly easier. Let's get right into the build. For execution upgrade you want Grim Resolve, almost a no-brainer here. Secret Mind is okay and can make the build work, but it is simply less effective. Remember, with this build getting health is very easy and taking damage has some benefits. I'll explain them later. So basically we don't want to lose might every time we get hit, so take Grim Resolve for this. Now for perfect counter you don't want fatal counter. It will ruin the build completely. It is our combo starter. Um, I'll explain the combo and show it in action later in this video in detail. I believe fatal counter is one of the favorite skill of the community, and I have seen many top tier players use it with most of their builds. It looks great on paper, but you just don't want the grunt to die instantly. So you can use rain of arrows or mighty reversal. Um, but in my opinion you should pick mighty reversal because your quiver will be filled most of the time with this build. For critical strike you can choose anything. I don't recommend reprisal though because you will be at full HP most of the time and want to be attacking things with your sword at 10% HP. For ground finisher you must have ground rain. You will need this for this build to work. For brutal aggression, take ceaseless might. No brainer here. Don't need to chain execution and waste focus for this build. In fact, with this build, we'll almost never going to use execution on grounds. For retaliation, I always pick adamant for those oh shit moments. Because I always play on nemesis difficulty. Other skills are just not as good. But if you really want, you can choose whatever you want. For Elven Agility, both upgrades are next to useless. I pick Spectral Dacia. For Brutalize, you want Unyielding Ferocity for extra might gain. You can choose anything for Poison Tendril. For Wraith Chain, you want Shadow Blade. No brainer here. For other skills in Predator section, you can choose whatever you want. For Detonate, you can choose anything. For free spin, you absolutely want brutal cold. Sometimes you will have a lot of uncounterable enemies like Ologs and defenders. You want to fear a defender with brutal cold, and from there you can start a brutal stealth combo in combat and can one-shot 5 enemies, including Ologs and defenders. You can even get a stealth hit to a captain in combat with this trick. Um, You can also use left shift plus E to instantly drain a feared enemy for 50% of your HP, or even 100% if you do it twice. It's completely instant. They cannot interrupt you while you are draining them. Um, if the feared enemy is not an archer, you can drain him once and then start your combo that will kill 5 nearby enemies. Each enemy will have a 50% chance of resurrecting as allies. For birds of prey, I use Talon Strike. Sounds like a no-brainer. You just don't want to spend focus aiming in air. There's no point. For Mighty Shot, you can use either Fire or Venom, depending on the situation. And Captain's weaknesses, etc. Just don't use Frost. There are better ways to freeze enemies without spending precious might. For Shadow Strike, just don't use Chain of Shadows. You don't want to spend focus on Shadow Strike because the dead grinds won't resurrect as allies. Both Shadow Strike Pool and Shadow Strike Dominate is good. I use Shadow Dominate most of the time and switch to Shadow Strike rarely to pull a captain from other captains. With this build, you won't even need to cheese with Shadow Strike Pool. For Dagger, I choose Shotgun Dagger, but you can choose whatever you want. For Elven Light, choose Fire or Poison. Basically, choose fire if you have chosen poison from Mighty Shot or vice versa. You can create Balefire if you apply both fire and poison to an enemy. It deals huge amount of damage over time. For Ice Dome, I use Shattering Ice to fear grounds. Again, fear allows us to gain free HP and use brutal stealth combo in combat. For consume, you can use anything really. Basically, you will very rarely use consume because we have a way easier way to get free health without spending resources or blowing the enemy's heads off. You can choose whatever you want for the rest of the Wraith skill tree. It won't affect your build. Same for the mounted skill tree. You can choose anything. None of your choice will affect the build. For drain, you'll need Quiver of Souls. This might be a shocker for a lot of you, but you don't want domination because we'll be using the ring rate set, and raised undead followers will do a lot more damage and take a lot less damage than dominated grunts. Also, if you dominate a grunt, you can start your deadly stealth combo that kills 5-6 grunts that are in combat. Bright Lord's Wrath is good, and is extremely good paired with Shadow Dominate skill. Um, but you will have a bit of arrow issues with that, and might need to search the map to look for arrow pickups, etc. Um, this build already provides a lot of steady supply of health, so you don't really need that extra health from Bright Lord's Wrath. Um, but if you really want to deal with your arrow problem and prefer full HP with every single Shadow Dominate, you can totally pick up the skill. You can choose anything in the rest of the story skill tree, but just don't ever pick Destroy Followers. Fear is amazing as I have explained throughout the video, but it is not worth sacrificing your followers to fear a few grounds. For gear, we are using the Ring Rate set. Combat kills will have 25% chance to raise a dead enemy grunt as your follower. Stealth kills will have 50% chance to raise a dead grunt. Um, it works on all logs too. Enemies killed by stealth combo will also have 50% chance of resurrecting, even if they are in combat. We'll also use set cloak and set ring to increase the damage done and reduce the damage taken by our raised undead followers. Cloak and ring will also increase raised dead range and cause a fear every time you use raised dead. So we definitely use those. They're amazing. The chest and the hammer of this set is not as good. You can use the arcane chest and arcane bow to make your follower sturdier. But personally, I used Vindicator and Blazebiter. If you are paying attention throughout the video, you may probably already guess how we are going to utilize our build. First, we want to fear an enemy grunt. Fear causes the enemy grunt to run away, but we don't really want them to run away. Making a few grunts run away doesn't help us much. So you may ask why we're fearing them or upgrading a lot of our skills to cause fear. We are fearing them because we can use all of our stealth skills on a feared grunt in combat. We can instantly stealth drain a feared enemy twice with left shift plus E to gain 100% HP and 8 arrows. We can also use brutalize on a feared enemy in combat to gain a good amount of hit streak, might, and spread the fear to other nearby enemies. Or we can stealth kill a feared enemy and chain stealth kill 4-5 other enemies that are in combat. Those extra 4-5 enemies don't need to be feared. This will also fill our rat bar by almost 50%. Basically, with this trick, you can turn the entire army in the Overlord's room into your own army within seconds with your ring rate set. You can also get a stealth hit on a captain using this trick and exploit his weakness during a fortress siege when a normal stealth hit is extremely difficult and time consuming. You can cause fear with drain. Combat drain, stealth drain, ground drain, basically all kind of drain causes fear. Combat drain takes a lot of time to complete and it's usually not a good option in a serious fight. And it's not easy to get a stealth drain in most situations. When surrounded by 10-15 enemies and captains, you can just do a perfect counter on one enemy grunt and then instantly ground drain him. Unlike other ground finishers, enemies very rarely interrupt ground drain. This is why we're not taking fatal counter. If there is a lot of uncounterable or ranged enemy, you can cause fear by shooting an enemy's leg and start your stealth combo from there. If you like the video, give the build a go. Give the video a like if you like it. I'll make more video about builds, fortress defense, and assault strategy soon. Subscribe for more videos and have a wonderful day.